This is actually an episode that I should have recorded last week before we got into branding and marketing, because you can't possibly do any of that without knowing who your target audience is. Hi, this is Greg Standen, and thank you for tuning in to the NDIS Marketing Podcast. Did you know that you are just one of over 4,800 providers in New South Wales and over 18,449 providers Australia-wide, trying to assist 554,917 participants on the NDIS in Australia as of the 11th of January 2023? This podcast aims to uncover some of the obstacles NDIS providers and participants face when looking for carers to provide the care that participants require. We will also look at some of the ways that NDIS service providers can better market themselves to the NDIS community. Welcome to today's episode of the NDIS Marketing Podcast. I hope you enjoyed last week's episode where we spoke to Paul Warren from Insightful about the difference between branding and marketing. This episode is a topic I probably should have covered last week before we got into branding and marketing, because before you look at branding and marketing, you need to know who your target audience is, or what is sometimes referred to as an avatar. Unless you know who your avatar is, well then how do you know what the best branding is and what the best marketing is for that particular avatar? And they're the things that we will explore in today's episode. Alright, so let's get into it. Avatars and target markets. So what is a target market? A target market, or an avatar, I'll use the term target market, but you can also interchange that with the term avatar. Now, what is that exactly? Well, a target market or an avatar is a group or a particular person in which you are trying to reach with your message, product, or service. And how do you identify that? Well, first of all, you need to know what is it that you are trying to achieve, what service are you trying to provide, what product do you have, who would actually use that product, and once you've figured out your price point, you then need to figure out who can actually afford that, and then they become your target market. So, for example, BMW, they are prestige car market, so they're looking for, say, males who are over 50, who have a disposable income of 100 grand, and that's their target audience. If you look at hassle-free marketing, for example, who bring this podcast to you, well, we're looking at the NDIS space. So our target audience is all of those people who are NDIS providers who do not know who their target audience is, or may know who their target audience is, and also who are struggling to find clients. Therefore, the fact that they're struggling to find clients would therefore imply that they have no clue who their target audience is, number one, or how to reach that audience and where to find them. So we here at Hassle Free Marketing, we help NDIS providers to actually do that specific task. Now, when you're trying to figure out your avatar or your target audience, you need to know, okay, what is the type of person I'm trying to reach? Are they in their 20s? Are they in their 30s, 40s, 50s? How old are they? What do they look like? What are their interests? where do they spend their money? What sort of disposable income do they have? Or when you're looking at the NDIS, what sort of budget do they actually have? What has the NDIS actually funded them for? And what are the services that they actually need? And then look at whether or not you can actually provide that particular service at the quality at which they require that service to be delivered at. So, for example, you might take somebody shopping or do somebody's cleaning, and that might be the limit of your service. And so that may not require someone with too much knowledge or too much qualifications. Whereas you might say that you're going to help people with personal care, and therefore that would require, depending on the level of the disability of the person, that would require someone who is hoist trained, somebody who knows something about the particular disability that the participant has, and therefore finding the right fit for that person. And this can often be a very challenging task. Seems to be a massive shortage of qualified workers in the industry, and it's something that I find that all agencies tend to struggle with. But what you need to do is to figure out, okay, what is the service that I want to provide? Who needs that service? Where are they located? Now, where can I find the workers to do that work? And you need to actually do that last point first and sort of work backwards from there, because there is no point in actually going out to provide a service to a client when you have no carers to cover that particular work. For example, I'm an NDIS participant, and all I need is, I'm very self-care. I run a business, and all I need is, I have a very long history of pressure care issues, so I need someone who is pressure care trained to come for an hour a day to make sure that I don't have any wounds and advise me if I do. Whereas somebody on the other end of the scale, like my lovely wife, who is a high needs client, who is a seizure risk, a choking hazard, needs hoisting, has SPC, somebody of that level needs somebody who is far more highly qualified and therefore would need a higher level of service. And you need to be able to make sure, as a provider, that you can actually provide that level of care. And to me, you can't provide all of those services. You can't provide every aspect of every little thing to every person on the NDIS. As I've said in my intro, there is over 500,000 people on the NDIS. You as a NDIS provider cannot possibly provide the right staff with the right qualifications to cover every single need of every single human being on the NDIS. So that is why it is vitally important that you need to work out who is your ideal client, who is your avatar more specifically, and then work out what services can you provide to that then target audience. Now, if you're looking to get assistance on this and how to go about looking at who your avatar should be, and then looking at what services you do provide, what services you can provide, and then being able to provide that at a level that is acceptable to both yourself, the industry, and the client, then I'm more than happy to have that discussion with you. You can check out my website, www.hasslefreemarketing.com.au, or you can email me, Greg, at hasslefreemarketing.com.au, or look me up on the socials as well, LinkedIn. I'm mostly on LinkedIn and Facebook. So, yeah, if you're wanting to find out more, reach out to me in either of those places. And we look forward to chatting to you next week. If you'd like to know more about marketing your NDIS business and services to your ideal clients, then head to www.hasslefreemarketing.com.au, where you'll find a bunch of marketing options to suit every budget. Register your email address at the bottom of the homepage to receive our list of 101 ways to market your NDIS services. I hope you've been able to grasp the importance of an avatar or target audience, and this episode has helped you to clarify in your own head what your target audience is. If you do need assistance in clarifying that further, feel free to get in contact with me, and I'll be more than happy to help. I've thoroughly enjoyed helping NDIS providers identify their target market and help them implement marketing strategies that will grow their business and strengthen the NDIS community as a whole. So if you're struggling with your marketing strategy, reach out to me by email, greg@hasslefreemarketing.com.au, to book a strategy call. You'll also find more about our services, and don't forget to download our 101 ways to market your business from the bottom of the homepage. On our next episode, you'll learn more about how to run an effective telemarketing campaign.